Russell Wilson, a landing spot. First time ever as a true free agent. Last year he was kind of a free agent, but it was because he was cut and the Broncos had to pay him the difference between $1.21 million and $39 million. This year he's cast off into the wilderness with no safety net financially. What can he get? He got a one-year, $10.5 million contract. To get the full $21 million, as I said yesterday, they have to go 17-0, and if that happens, I'll get John Mara's face tattooed on my arm. He's not going to make $21 million. He's going to make somewhere between 10.5 and 21. We'll see how that plays out. But one of the factors in whether he's going to make a lot more than $10.5 million is whether he plays, and he might not play if they would use the third overall pick in the draft on a quarterback and put him on the field. Here's Russell Wilson from earlier this week on how he'll react if what happens to Kirk Cousins last year happens to him this year.
The great part about professional sports is constant change, there's constant movement and everything else. If we draft a quarterback, we'll make sure that he does everything he can to be ready to go and be prepared with his mentality. But for me, it's about the process of winning. I'm focused on winning, what I can do as the quarterback of the New York Giants to help us win and to do everything that we can to lead. And I'm excited, man. I've been gifted with so much in this game in terms of experiences and things I've gone through, all the great moments, some tough ones along the way, but also to being inside those white lines. That's my most favorite place to be. And so I'm excited to do that and to rock the New York Giants jersey.
Now, look. And we were a little harsh yesterday with some of the things Russell Wilson said because it's feeling a little presumptuous as he's at the stage in his career where Father Time is winning. Father Time, I mean, he's only 36, but Father Time is winning. The physical skills are not what they used to be. The Steelers had no interest in bringing him back. But to say all the positive things about bringing in a young quarterback and getting him ready, but for me it's all about winning. But there was a implicit in what he said is his very firm belief that we are best suited to win if I'm the one playing. And that's what is going to be the very difficult thing for Russell Wilson to process if it comes to it, if they decide that they are more suited to win with someone else, because he's never been guy on the team that wasn't viewed as the player who was most likely to help the team win. Even when he got benched in Denver, it was financial. It wasn't because somebody decided someone else gives them a better chance to win. They put him on the bench because they didn't want him to get injured and have another 35, 37 million, some big number like that, vest is fully guaranteed because they couldn't cut him while he was injured, and then boom, the switch flips to full guarantee and they're stuck. He's never been viewed as not the guy. And I can tell he's got that armor on his psyche where I think at some level he knows it's not what it used to be and he's trying to hold on, Michael. He might find out the hard way if they would bring in a young guy. And with his contract, with Jameis Winston's contract, they can. He might find out the hard way that this is the year someone decides you're no longer our best option to win.
Well, I'll give him credit for this. He did say we. He didn't say they. He said if we draft a quarterback, we got to get him. We got to get him ready to play. So he's already taking on the hey, I'm a New York Giant. But you said you and Sims were a little harsh with Russell Wilson yesterday. I'm going to be a little harsh with the New York Giants, specifically Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. Only because they were given a directive from ownership. Hey, you got to get better. We got to make some progress. We're going to bring you back after a rough season. We got the third pick in the draft for a reason. We weren't very good in 2024. We're going to bring you back, but you got to improve. And can you imagine, getting this kind of, hey, do or die, this message from your boss, and the best you can come up with is you sign Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, and you bring back Tommy DeVito? Wow. I mean, I just feel like there should have been more imagination. There should have been more urgency. And if they take Shedeur Sanders, so then what's the message? So you've got Russell Wilson, starter, Jameis Winston backup, but still thinks if he's competing against Russell Wilson, he's not going to say, I defer to Russell. I can beat him out, maybe. And then you have a rookie who's the third pick in the draft. I just think they have, for the second year in a row, I just look at them, and it's head-scratching. I look at what they did with Saquon Barkley last year, and what they're doing right now is shocking. There's no way, Mike, if my job's on the line, with all respect to those guys, my job's on the line. There's no way I'm looking at Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson to save me.
Well, this is the equivalent of that dynamic that we see play out every December, January, February, and sometimes into March. Hasn't happened this March yet, but you never know when the weather's going to take a turn. But when that winter storm is coming, what do? You got to go to the store. You know why you go to the store? You got to get bread and milk because the storm is coming. So we got to go buy bread and milk. There is a desperation to purchase bread and milk. We must have a full refrigerator of bread and milk, because if this is the storm of the century, we will not be able to get bread or milk. So when you show up and you push your cart to the aisle where the bread is, or to the case where the milk is, and you see that your preferred brand is gone, the stuff you usually buy is gone, and all that's left is the generic brand. The old, remember when the true generic, it was a white wrapper,
black and white,
that just said bread.
Yes.
Right? So you get to the bread, and all that's left is the bread. Or all that's left is milk. And that's it. The cheap, low-end crap. And I mean, sorry, Jameson, sorry, Russell. But my point is, they were rushing to the store the day before the storm, and all the good stuff was gone. So they panicked, and they hoarded whatever they could. And I mistakenly, on Friday, when they signed Jameis Winston, I wrote an item at PFT saying, well, okay, here are the teams that are left in the veteran quarterback sweepstakes. Take the Giants out. And somebody knowledgeable reached out to me and said, no, they're still in it for Russell Wilson. So I'm glad that I wrote that story on Sunday, that they were still in it for Russell Wilson, because by Monday night they were. But this is Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. They got to get bread and they got to get milk, and they had none. They had none. All due respect to Tommy DeVito. He wasn't regarded as good enough to even go into the pantry or the refrigerator. They needed more, and they got it, and they hoarded it because they missed the boat on Matthew Stafford. And Aaron Rodgers decided at the end of the day that he wasn't interested in playing for them, apparently. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.